Lily, a little girl in a wheelchair, loved her ramp. It was her way to feel free watching birds soar. But a mean neighbor wired it to shock her, not knowing her kindness would spark something bigger. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching, also like and subscribe. Lily was a 10-year-old girl with a smile that could light up the darkest day. Stuck in a wheelchair, she never let her struggles stop her. She lived with her dad, Mark, in a quiet little neighborhood. Mark was her hero, a kind single father who worked as an electricity officer, fixing power lines to keep the town glowing. He'd built a special ramp just for Lily, so she could roll in and out of their home with ease. Every morning she'd sit on that ramp, watching birds dance in the sky, dreaming she could fly with them. Her soft giggles warmed every heart in the neighborhood, except one. Even on tough days, when pain made her small body ache, Lily's eyes sparkled with hope. "Daddy, look, the birds are singing for me," she'd say, and Mark would hug her tight, his heart full. That ramp wasn't just wood and nails, it was her freedom, her window to a world she loved. But someone cruel was watching, someone who didn't care about Lily's dreams or the tears she hid behind her brave little smile. Karen lived next door, the kind of neighbor everyone avoided. She was the HOA lady, strict, loud, and always mad about something. To her, Lily's ramp was an eyesore, a ugly scar on her perfect neighborhood. "It ruins everything," she'd yell, stomping around with her clipboard, not caring that it was Lily's lifeline. Karen's heart was cold, hardened by rules and her own bitterness. She didn't see the little girl who smiled at birds, she saw a problem to fix. One cloudy afternoon, Karen hatched a nasty plan. She sneaked over with wires in her hands, her eyes darting around to make sure no one saw. She hooked them up to Lily's ramp, her lips curling into a mean smirk. "A little shock will scare her off," she thought. "Then that ugly ramp will be gone for good." She didn't know Mark was an electricity officer, a man who could spot a bad wire from a mile away. She didn't care that Lily rolled down that ramp every day, her small hands gripping the wheels with hope. Karen just wanted to win. As she tightened the last wire, a chill ran through the air. She wiped her hands, thinking she'd outsmarted everyone. The neighborhood was quiet, but something felt wrong, like a storm was brewing. What would happen when Lily rolled out tomorrow? Karen didn't know her cruel trick was about to unravel, and the truth would hit harder than any shock she'd planned. She walked back home, smug and clueless, while fate waited to flip her world upside down. The sun peeked over the rooftops as Lily rolled down her ramp, her face bright with her usual morning joy. It was her favorite time, feeding the birds that chirped just for her. She hummed softly, crumbs in her small hands, her wheelchair gliding like it always did. Then, out of nowhere, a sharp jolt stabbed through her. A loud zap cracked the air and Lily screamed, a sound so raw it tore through the quiet street. Pain shot up her arms, her little body shaking as the wheelchair tipped and crashed to the ground. Mark was inside, pouring coffee, when her cry hit him like a punch. He dropped everything, the mug shattering on the floor, and ran outside. His heart stopped at the sight. His baby girl sprawled on the cold concrete, tears streaming down her pale cheeks. "Lily," he yelled, falling to his knees beside her. Her hands trembled, red from the shock, and her wide, scared eyes met his. "Daddy, why did the ramp hurt me?" she whispered, her voice tiny and broken. Mark's chest tightened, tears burning his own eyes as he scooped her up, holding her close. "I'll fix it, sweetheart. I promise," he choked out. Neighbors rushed over, their gasps filling the air. Mrs. Thompson clutched her chest, horrified. Old Mr. Lee shook his head, muttering, "Who could do this?" Anger mixed with shock as they stared at the ramp, Lily's safe place now a trap. Mark rocked her gently, her soft sobs cutting deeper than any knife. What had happened? Who had turned her little world upside down? The answer was close, hidden in the wires, waiting to unravel a story no one saw coming. Mark sat Lily on the porch, wrapping her in a blanket, her teary eyes watching him. He kissed her forehead, whispering, "Stay here, baby. Daddy's got this." Then he turned to the ramp, his hands steady but his heart pounding. As an electricity officer, he knew wires like the back of his hand. He crouched down, running his fingers along the wood until he felt it, thin, hidden cables twisted tight. His jaw clenched. This wasn't some freak accident. Someone had done this to his little girl. Rage boiled inside him, but for Lily he kept his cool. He followed the wires step by step, his boots crunching on the gravel. They snaked across the yard, past the fence, straight to Karen's house. The neighbors gathered, whispering, their eyes wide. Mark knocked hard on her door, his voice low but sharp. "Karen, come out. Now." She opened it, smirking at first. "What's your problem?" she snapped. Lily got shocked. These wires lead here, Mark said, holding up the evidence. Her face paled, but she lied. I don't know anything about that. Mark didn't flinch. He pointed to the burnt ends, the sloppy knots, proof she couldn't hide. The crowd gasped. Mrs. Thompson yelled, "You hurt that sweet girl?" Mr. Lee shook his fist. Karen stammered, her lies crumbling like dry leaves. I didn't mean," she started, but no one listened. Shame burned her cheeks as she backed away, trying to slam the door. Too late. The truth was out, raw and ugly. Mark stood tall, his voice breaking. "She's 10. In a wheelchair. What kind of person are you?" The neighborhood turned, their anger a wall she couldn't escape. Lily sat in her wheelchair, still trembling from the shock, her small hands clutching a blanket. Mark knelt beside her, his face tight with worry. "Daddy," she whispered, her voice soft but steady, "I don't want anyone to be mad. I just want my ramp back." Her words hung in the air, simple yet so pure they hit like a wave. Mark's eyes watered. He'd been ready to fight, but here was his little girl, choosing peace over anger. The neighbors, still buzzing with fury, fell silent, stunned by her kindness. Even Karen, lurking by her window, heard it. Her chest tightened, a flicker of something new stirring inside her cold heart. That night Mark got to work. Under a sky full of stars, he tore out the bad wires and fixed the ramp, his hands steady despite the ache in his soul. Lily watched from her bedroom window, her weak smile glowing in the dark. She pressed her hand to the glass, whispering, "Thank you, Daddy." The neighbors couldn't stay away. They came with flowers, cookies, and little notes for Lily. Mrs. Thompson handed her a daisy, saying, "You're our sunshine, sweetie." Mr. Lee left a plate of warm cookies, his gruff voice soft for once. Their love wrapped around Lily like a hug, healing the hurt bit by bit. Karen watched from her dark house, the curtains barely cracked open. She saw the lights, the flowers, the smiles, all for a girl she'd tried to break. For the first time shame burned through her. She'd been so wrong, so mean. Lily's gentle words echoed in her head, cracking the wall she'd built around her heart. Could she fix this? Would they ever forgive her? The night stretched on, quiet but heavy, leaving everyone wondering what tomorrow would bring. The next morning the sun was soft and golden. Karen stood at Lily's door, her hands shaky, holding a small wooden birdhouse she'd spent all night making. She knocked lightly, her voice barely a whisper. "Lily, I'm so sorry," she said, tears spilling down her cheeks. She looked down, ashamed, expecting anger. But Lily rolled forward, her eyes bright, and smiled. "Thank you," she said sweetly. "It's pretty. Can we put it up together?" Karen froze, stunned by the forgiveness in that little voice. She nodded, a lump in her throat. Mark stepped out, watching closely, but he saw Lily's happiness and softened. "Let's do it," he said. The neighbors gathered, Mrs. Thompson with her warm grin, Mr. Lee with his quiet nod. They lifted the birdhouse onto the ramp, hammering it in place as Lily clapped her hands. Birds fluttered down almost instantly, chirping and hopping on the tiny perch. Lily laughed, a sound so pure it melted the last of the tension away. Even Karen's lips twitched into a small, shy smile, her first real one in years. The neighborhood buzzed with a new warmth, like a family stitched back together. The ramp stood strong again, now with a birdhouse full of life. As the sun dipped low, Mark knelt by Lily, brushing her hair back. "You're my hero, kiddo," he whispered, his voice thick with pride. Lily hugged him tight, her giggle echoing. What started with a cruel shock ended in love. Lily's kindness had turned pain into something beautiful, leaving everyone, even Karen, changed forever.